Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Marina Grossu from Washington, D.C. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The President of Portugal has released a message on the upcoming World Youth Day in the capital, Lisbon. President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa hailed it as a universal, open, and ecumenical gathering. He said in less than 2 months, his country will welcome Pope Francis and youth from all over the world. He said they will be welcomed to the city in a spirit that is typical of Portugal, which is that of a bridge between oceans, continents, cultures, and peoples. It is from August 1st to 6th that the nation will be hosting the largest youth gathering in the world. The opening mass in the iconic Way of the Cross will be held on the Hill of the Encounter in Park Eduardo VII, and the opening mass will be offered by the Patriarch of Lisbon, Cardinal Manuel Clemente. Parque Tejo is the location of the vigil and the final mass, and the venue will be known as Campo de Graça. The state of Oklahoma has authorized the United States' first Christian charter school on Monday. Public funds are being used to cover the tuition of children enrolled in the online Catholic school managed by the Diocese of Tulsa and the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City. In a 3-hour meeting, the statewide virtual charter school board decided to authorize St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School by a 3-2 margin. Republican Governor Kevin Stitt praised the choice in a statement. Stitt said that it was a win for religious liberty and education freedom in the state, and said he was encouraged by the efforts to give parents more options when it comes to their child's education. The governor said Oklahomans support an increasingly innovative education system that expands choice. The head of the Italian episcopate, Cardinal Matteo Zuppi of Bologna, is in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev to defuse tensions in war-torn Ukraine. During his 2-day visit, the envoy of Pope Francis is working with the Ukrainian authorities to find possible ways to achieve just peace and to support humanitarian gestures that will help ease tensions. The Vatican press office said that the objective of the mission is to favor an environment that can lead to paths of peace. Meanwhile, to bolster national security, the regional parliament of the oblast in Uzhhorod in Ukraine wants to ban all religious organizations linked to Russia. They approved a resolution in this regard on Thursday, and it targets the branch of the Orthodox Church which maintains ties with the Moscow Patriarchate. In the American state of California, the Republican senators are criticizing their Democratic colleagues for congratulating a member of an anti-Catholic organization. Senate Minority Leader Brian Jones of San Diego sent a letter to Senate President pro tempore Toni Atkins last week, requesting her to retract invitation to Michael Williams of the so-called Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who is slated to take part in a ceremony for the homosexual community. The organization is a group of men with gender dysphoria who mock Catholic beliefs by dressing up as nuns and taking part in shows. They engage in blasphemous endeavors and in using the saying, "Go forth and sin some more," parodying a famous gospel passage of Christ. Jones told Fox News that it is not appropriate for the state Senate for that type of display does not rise to the level that should be honored in the Capitol. He also said that Democrats in the Senate have shown utter disregard for the 10 million Catholic Californians. Protests erupted in North Hollywood in California on Friday as angry parents had a face-off with counter-protesters outside Saticoy Elementary School after school officials reportedly ignored parents' concerns about hosting a pride event. Parents took to the streets and refused to send their children back until they could speak directly with school officials. They said the school district should not be teaching minors LGBTQ content. According to the Associated Press, more people were protesting against the assembly than for it. Some of the demonstrators were sporting t-shirts that read, "Leave our kids alone," and "No pride in grooming." Members of China's Uyghur minority around the world held vigils and rallies over the weekend, marking the 34th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Many Uyghurs, Hong Kong residents, and Tibetans took to the streets of the United States, Britain, and other countries to commemorate the deaths of hundreds in the peaceful protests in the Chinese capital on June 4, 1989. Uyghurs in the United Kingdom marched towards the Chinese embassy in London, seeking the support of the government and other international agencies against Chinese atrocities. Similar demonstrations were held in various cities worldwide, including Edinburgh, Toronto, and San Francisco, to honor the victims. Rahima Mahmoud of the Stop Uyghur Genocide campaign said that they would keep on protesting against the repressive government of the Chinese Communist Party. The People's Liberation Army brutally cracked down on peaceful young protesters in Tiananmen Square, leaving hundreds dead and thousands incarcerated. In the American state of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott has signed into law a bill banning so-called gender-altering treatments for children. Senate Bill 14 bans medical professionals from providing gender transition surgeries, puberty-blocking medication, or hormone therapies to those under 18 years of age. The law will take effect on September 1st, and it forbids the use of public funds directly or indirectly for these procedures. If any healthcare provider violates the law, they risk losing their license. The law provides exceptions to children who are born with a genetic abnormality and children who lack a typical sex chromosomal structure. The opponents of the law have vowed to file a lawsuit against it. After more than 7 weeks of fighting between the military and a powerful paramilitary unit in Sudan, residents of the capital, Khartoum, and the western region of Darfur are witnessing intense shelling and fighting. After a ceasefire agreed by Saudi Arabia and the United States expired late on Saturday, fighting between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has worsened. The Sudanese army and the rival Rapid Support Forces have been battling for control over the African country since April. The war has displaced more than 1.2 million people in North African country, and about 400,000 have fled to neighboring nations. In addition, the war severely damaged the capital, leaving the surviving citizens vulnerable to airstrikes and looting. In Nigeria, armed men killed at least 30 people and abducted a number of children in attacks in the north of the nation on June 3rd. According to reports, the heavily armed gang attacked Janbako and Sakita villages in northwestern Zamfara state, in which 24 people lost their lives. They also kidnapped children who were fetching firewood from woods nearby. Police spokesperson Ahmad Rufai said 5 villages in neighboring Sokoto state were also attacked on Saturday, and the victims were buried the following day. Separately, the Diocese of Nui in Anambra state has announced that a Catholic priest who was abducted on Friday last week has been released. Diocesan Chancellor Father Raphael Ezugu said in a statement that Father Stanislaus Mbara was released on Sunday, June 4th. The Chancellor urged the public to give thanks to the Almighty for the safe return of the priest. It is not clear if any ransom was paid for the release of the priest. Less than 24 hours after the Australian Capital Territory government passed legislation to take over a Catholic hospital, the Archbishop of Canberra Goulburn paid a visit to the facility to show closeness with the staff and administration. While visiting Calvary Hospital, Archbishop Christoph Preuss told the staff that he was walking alongside them in these challenging times. He told them that it is Catholic ethos that gives the real soul to the place, rather than it being just a facility. The prelate said the arguments of the government focus just on efficiency, but the Calvary Hospital is more than that. We are human beings with deep aspirations, cherished Catholic values, and a sense of family, Archbishop Preuss told the staff. Last Thursday, Calvary Healthcare sought an injunction to halt the acquisition. The government plans to shift operations away from the Catholic facility to Canberra Health Services ahead of July 3rd. Torrential rains in Haiti have resulted in 15 deaths, and 8 people are still unaccounted for. The authorities say that the death toll is likely to go up, the Caribbean nation. So far, more than 13,000 people have been moved to safer locations, as 7,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed in the floods. According to Prime Minister Ariel Henry, the National Emergency Operations Center is coordinating with global aid agencies to tide over this new crisis. Rivers have burst their banks and there are rampant mudslides. The capital, Port-au-Prince, is also witnessing heavy flooding like the south of the nation, where the damage is more. The nation is already reeling from political instability, rampant poverty, and gang violence because of the lack of internal security. A prominent Pakistani rights organization has asked the government to intervene and repeal the so-called blasphemy laws and put an end to the victimization of people, especially those belonging to minority communities. Human Rights Focus Pakistan, or HRFP, has said that the number of cases related to so-called blasphemy has reached 3,000 this year because of the increasing average over the past 7 years. Until October 2019, 17 people accused of blasphemy were facing the death sentence, while many others are serving life imprisonment. Between 1990 and 2019, at least 65 people were lynched after being accused of blasphemy. HRFP says that among the individuals charged with blasphemy are 633 Muslims, 187 Christians, and 21 Hindus. The organization stated that often the laws are misused to target religious minorities. HRFP President Naveed Walter said that when a Christian, Hindu, or other member of a religious minority is attacked, the entire community also comes under attack. Leading American pro-life organizations will host a national Celebrate Life Day rally and a gala in Washington, D.C. on June 24th to commemorate the first anniversary of the reversal of Roe v. Wade. The event is also being held to inspire the pro-life community to make abortion unthinkable nationwide. Students for Life of America, or SFLA, said in a press release that pro-lifers are no longer hampered by the 1973 Roe decision in light of the 2022 Dobbs ruling. SFLA President Kristen Hawkins said the purpose is to protect preborn Americans under the 14th Amendment. The event also serves to recognize the commitment, innovations, and sacrifices made by several unsung heroes over the first 49 years of the pro-life movement. Among the speakers at the event are SFLA President Kristen Hawkins, Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch, niece of Martin Luther King Jr., Alveda King, President of Live Action, Lila Rose, and 40 Days for Life President Sean Carney. And those are your latest headlines. Join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.